Good afternoon, everyone. It's the 8th of April, 2024, and it's Eclipse Day. And what am I doing? I'm making a video. And I am in the direct path of the eclipse. Now, with all that said and out of the way, because I don't know when you're going to watch this, the title of this was Sig Romeo X Disappointment. And I am pretty disappointed, and I'm going to show you why I'm disappointed. I'm also disappointed with Sig itself, but let's start right off the bat. This is Romeo X. This is an original Romeo 1. I want you to notice right off the bat, look at the size difference of those two optics. The Romeo X is quite a bit smaller than the original Romeo 1 was. That's my disappointment number one. I also want to point out, and I'm going to show you some others. This is a Leopold Delta Point Pro. They don't even come close to comparing. This is a Trigicon RMR, and it's bigger than this is by a considerable amount. This is a Holosun 507C, and it's bigger. So, number one thing that I'm disappointed about, by a lot, is the fact that it is so small. What's the second thing I'm disappointed in? Notice the sights. This is on the slide that's got the Romeo X, and this is on the slide that's got the Romeo 1 on it. Notice the Romeo 1 has height suppressor sights. The Romeo X has standard sights. Does it co-witness? Yes, it co-witnesses very, very well. Very well. But, wait for it. This is the big problem. And for me, it's a big problem because I like to shoot with a suppressor. Guess what? Without suppressor height sights, kind of hard to do. Well, people say, well, you can buy suppressor height sights. Yeah, you can, but guess what? Now the Romeo X doesn't co-witness with your sights. And your sights are a little on the large side for that little itty-bitty window. So, ladies and gentlemen, you are seeing most of the reason why I am not happy with this optic. Now let's talk about some features I actually do like about this optic. And I hope I can get it on screen. I'm not sure I can. We're going to see if we can tone that up a bit for you. I know it's kind of hard to see, and that's about as good as I can get it. I like the circle dot a lot. I'm a big fan of that. I use it on one of my Vortex optics I've got on one of my rifles. I'm just a big fan. I've got old eyes, I've got astigmatism, yada, yada, yada. And that is a great feature. The other thing I really like about this is the very positive and protected buttons. They're definitely larger. Well, I don't know if they're larger, but they're better constructed than what they were on the old Romeo 1s. And hold that down, and it will turn off the optic, and it's very easy to do. This also has, I call it shake awake. I don't know what the latest thing is that they call it now, but it has the shake feature. It also is supposed to go on and off if you put a magnet next to it. If you got a magnetized holster and you're carrying it for duty, supposedly it'll shut the light off. The battery is supposed to be 20 hours. I'm not sure whether or not that's true or not. Oh, I didn't shut it off. Hang on a minute. I like this. I like the side-mounted battery compartment. I like the fact that with a tool you can get it started and then unscrew it with your hand. It takes 1632 batteries, CR 1632 batteries. That's a feature I like. While they're not suppressor height, and I would prefer that they are, this optic will work with standard sights. And if you don't have this back sight, it's notched for it already. So if you're running an M17 and M18, that when you take off this to mount this, you don't need to worry about the rear sight because it's got one already. And it's nice and black. It works excellently. The other thing that I really, really like about this optic is just that it's, for the first time, in my opinion, Sig has made one that's pretty much bomb-proof. The only thing, I would like to compare this, but I'm not going to do it because what it cost me. I would love to compare, the durability of this to a Trigicom RMR, because that's supposed to be the standard in durability. So those are the things I like. I like the red dot and circle. I like these buttons. I like the side entry. I like the durability. But would I buy another one? No, I will not buy another one. And we will sit down and talk about that for a minute. We've talked about why I'm disappointed in Sig's Romeo X optic. Now let's talk about why I'm disappointed in Sig. And for those out there that are going to probably say I should know better, yeah, maybe. But I've been with Sig since 2012. That's when I bought my first one. And I bought my first P320 in 2016. March of 2016. So to say I know a little bit about a Sig is probably a bit of an understatement if you've seen my other videos about Sigs. But that doesn't explain why I'm disappointed this time. And it's not my first time being disappointed in Sig. The reason I'm disappointed in Sig is because of this slide and this optic. Now, if you take a look, it looks pretty good. I mean, the slide's in pretty good shape. The optic looks pretty good. And it is. There's really not a lot wrong with it. It's Romeo 1, and I bought it in the P320 full-size RX version, which means you bought the P320 with milled slide for the Romeo 1. The reason why I'm disappointed in Sig is because they have abandoned the Romeo 1 completely. And they abandoned the Romeo 1 footprint for the Delta Point Pro footprint. So, you can't buy a Romeo 1 anymore. And to use this slide with anything else, it has to be milled by somebody that knows how to mill it. So for the price of what it would probably cost me to get it milled for a different optic, it just makes sense to buy another one. I have two RX P320s. I have this one and then I have a compact. The Romeo 1 on my P320 compact is pretty beat up. It's been through quite a bit because it used to be my duty carry. I love the gun. I absolutely love the gun. To be honest with you, I like the optic. It's just a red dot, but it has a nice large window. You can change the battery from the top. It's good. And I'm going to continue to use the one on the compact for as long as I can. And if the Romeo 1 that's on it craps out, guess what, people? I've got another one. So, in summation, why do I not like the Romeo X and why am I disappointed? The single biggest reason I'm disappointed in it is its size. The window on it is smaller than any other optic I own. And until I got that, the RMR, the Trijicon RMR had the smallest one. And I was okay with it, but I didn't prefer it because it was on the smaller side. The other big thing that I don't like about it is the fact that it's too low. I would prefer to have had it higher so that it could co-witness with suppressor height sights so that I could use it with suppressor height sights. Well, using that slide with that optic is no longer an option with a suppressor. I have other guns that I can put the suppressor on that have suppressor height sights, but that's my primary gun for training, for everything. I absolutely love that particular P320, which I have an AXG grip module on, and it's just a really good gun. It has some heft to it, and that AXG module is very, very comfortable. So those are the two real big reasons why I'm not a fan. I will use it. I will do my best to enjoy it as much as I can, but I can tell you, I have probably bought my last Sig optic. And almost anybody that watches this will probably tell you there are better ones out there, starting with Trijicons. And for the price, I think Trijicons are worth it. Holosons are definitely worth it and definitely as good with a bigger window and a side opening battery tray. I think Holosons are great optics, and I only have one gun with it. It's on my Shadow Systems MR920, but it's a good optic. So I will quit babbling. I thank everybody for watching this, and I hope you have better experiences buying your shooting tools. Talk to you later.